These are exciting times. No doubt. You can feel the excitement in your body. I know you can. But will you? That's my ultimate question for you. Will you allow yourself to feel? When you were a child, you walked through the forest barefoot. When you tried to walk through the forest as an adult, you were wary of walking barefoot. You were afraid, but not when you were a child. You could feel the crispy leaves under your feet. You can hear them now. Feel that. Excitement. Crispy leaves under your feet. Barefoot in the woods. A child. I have too much trauma for that. Listen. They call me Derpy for a reason. And it's not just because I'm sitting here on this park bench throwing breadcrumbs at birds. I am Derpy. I don't know what you're talking about. I understand it. I have seen you for weeks sitting on this bench, Derpy. Yeah, I'm just trying to feel alive. They call me Derpy all my life. I used to get upset about it, but Derpy doesn't care anymore. Derpy knows that even though Derpy is Derpy, it's about them. They can't love me for who I am. And that's not Derpy's fault. Derpy is as Derpy does. I understand that, Derpy. And the reason I've decided to stop and sit on this bench with you today is to just give you a new outlook on life. I want you to remember the time that you were walking barefoot in the woods, crispy leaves under your feet. Tell me if you can remember that, Derpy. Crispy leaves under my feet? Not really. Well, tell me if you can remember anything like that in your life from childhood. I remember the day I was very happy with my wife. On my wedding day, she said that she would always love me. But sir, I don't think that she does love me anymore. Baby, that's not true. I need you to shift. I don't think I can, babe. I'm Derpy. Derpy is as Derpy does. And I think your wife is correct, Derpy, that, with time, it just kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy if you keep telling yourself that you are Derpy. Then you will be Derpy. But that's what they always call me. Like ever since I can remember, I was Derpy. Derp, 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 derp-de-doo, derp-de-doo. Derpy, 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 you are Derpy. Derp-de-doo. Derp's on you. Love, I think the gentleman is really trying to point out something, that you've kind of accepted this as your identity, and you don't have to be Derpy. Just because the kids teased you doesn't mean that that's your true identity, Derpy. I mean, you're not Derpy. I have come to call you Derpy because you believe in that yourself, love. And I think the gentleman has a point. Maybe. May I know the gentleman's name? Yes. You can know my name. Joseph. In some circles they call me Yeshua. I've heard that name before, Yeshua. What is it? Now, people seem to think that I resemble Christ, and that was one of Jesus' ancient names, Yeshua. We call him Jesus now, but they called him Yeshua then. Well, they call me Derpy now. They call me Derpy. I know that, and I could just read your energy when I was walking through the park and I decided to sit down with you and your lovely wife. Tell me, what was the courtship like? Well, I think she just found a really nice man who she could marry. Baby, I think we should just tell Yeshua the truth on this. Baby, this is between you and me. Well, maybe Yeshua has some answers for Derpy. And if Derpy's happy, then you're happy. Right? Well, love, I believe the phrase is happy wife, happy life, not happy husband, happy life. Well, I think Derpy's happiness is important, whatever the phrase happens to be. Sir Yeshua, my wife was very unhappy. No man would choose her, because she's too bossy. I chose her because I knew she was sad, and she tried to be nice to me, and I have a lot of money. So I said you could be my wife. I'll be nice to you. I will take care of you. Just be nice to me, and I'll give you plenty of money. How's that sound, baby? I'm working really hard over here to be the loving wife. I have a hard time giving up control, Derps. And I'm happy that you're talking to Mr. Yeshua here. He seems to be a very enlightened man. An ancient man. They once called Jesus. Well, I can assure you both that I have nothing to do with what they decided to name me. It's just happenstance, really. I have a disciple, however, and he should be coming along soon. He will speak with you about how to save your marriage. Mr. Gentleman, Yeshua, I'm not sure what you mean. Saving our marriage. Yes, Douglas will talk to you about that. Your apostle. Well, you can call him an apostle, disciple. Douglas is like my protege. He will be taking over when I step down. Mr. Yeshua, gentleman, Jesus. What are you going to be stepping down from? Well, I talk to a lot of people around the world, like I'm speaking to you now, Derpy. And when I say Derpy, I don't want to put you in a cage. I'm not pigeonholing you. You have the choice as to whether you want to identify with the Derpy frequency, the Derpy consciousness, the Derpy name. Well, okay. And you, ma'am, you've made a lot of progress. As strange as this might sound, in choosing to be his wife and letting go of your boss babe ways, you're on a journey. Now, you're not going to be fulfilled with Derpy, but your bills are being paid, and you are learning how to let go. And then one day you will be free of that compulsion, and you will be happy. And in the meantime, who knows what will happen with Derpy? Because he chose you. And he chose you from the Derpy frequency, the Derpy energy. But as you shift, Derpy may shift, and especially after he speaks with me and my disciple, Douglas. Welcome, Doug. Hello, Yeshua. Doug, we have a couple here. Tell me what you see. Yeshua, of course. Be happy to tell you what I see. Oh, I see a kingdom here. A great kingdom. Yeshua. I see a king and a queen. Oh, Yeshua, it's beautiful. Okay, Doug. Tell me why you see a king and a queen. Well, I see two souls, Yeshua, who are very much stuck in what people call ego. They're very much stuck in their persona, the mask. And Yeshua, they chose each other, two masks. The adventure is going to continue until they take off their masks. Excuse me, Doug, I do have a question if you don't mind. I know you're talking right now and don't want to interrupt your sermon. Not a sermon, just speaking with my master Yeshua. Go ahead. Tell me. I'm happy to listen to you. Oh, yes. I am Derpy. And this is my wife. My wife is a boss, babe. She'd be the first to tell you that. And, I just want her to be happy. I know that I can't make her happy. And what I want to really know is if I shift, if Derpy is no longer Derpy, will my wife be happy? And Sir Douglas, this is a question for you and for Gentleman Joshua. Yeshua Jesus. Yes. Joshua. I like that. Thank you, Derpy. Okay. Well, I'm a little late to the party, but what I can say is that you, Derpy, have been wearing a mask for so long that you've identified with the mask. But you were, in fact, wearing a mask before those kids teased you. Excuse me, Douglas, sir. How did you know? I only told Gentleman Jesus that the kids teased me. Well, I can see it. Derpy, I can see right into you. I can see your history. All your backstory. Your karma. Everything that comprises the biography of Derpy and his wonderful wife, Anne. Excuse me, Sir Douglas, Master Yeshua Jesus. Gentlemen, how'd you know that my wife's name was Anne? How'd you know that? Derpy didn't tell you. I sure as heck didn't tell you that. I don't even know if I told Gentleman Jesus Jeshua. Derpy. Look at me, Derpy. Okay, I am. Derpy's looking. Derpy's turning away, but Derpy's trying to look. Derpy's here. Derpy's looking at you. Now, Sir Douglas and Yeshua, Gentleman Jesus, I'm here. I'm feeling really awkward. Derpy feeling awkward. Derpy feeling really awkward. Derpy not knowing what to do. Baby, just stay there and feel what you need to feel. Stay with it. And you don't tell Derpy what to do. Derpy is taking off of his mask right now, just taking it off, taking and ripping the mask off, because Sir Douglas and Gentleman Jesus Yeshua. And Derpy may have to leave you. You can have all of Derpy's money, but Derpy may have to leave you and to follow Gentleman Yeshua and his disciple Douglas. No, it's not how this works, Derpy. You don't just meet me and Douglas and then leave your woman behind. That's not why we're here, Derpy. We're here because you cried out for help. I answered the call. I'm on a world tour. I go from Parkbench to Parkbench. People cry out in despair on park benches. Jesus meets Derpy on a park bench. That's how it works. It's not about you leaving your wonderful wife. And soon, Yeshua's protege, Douglas, arrives. We are here to liberate you from the masks that you wear, not to recruit new disciples. Douglas, tell them. Derpy and Anne, let me tell you both something. You're going to think that just because you let go of the masks, that you need to let go of your life. It's not like that. You don't need to let go of your life. You just need to let go of your masks. Derpy has a question. If I've always been this way, how is it that it's a mask if it's just who I always have been? How do you know, Douglas? All I've ever known is Derpy. And I'm afraid if I stop being Derpy, then my woman will be unhappy with me. She says she'll always love me. She wants me to be different, but if I change, maybe she don't love me no more. Who do you love? Anne? Who do you love? Do you love Derpy? Derpy, I do love you, but I don't know if I'm in love with you. I know that you're the nicest man I ever met, and I know that you take care of me, so I don't have to be your boss babe anymore. But does that mean I'm in love with you? I mean, I do love you. But will you leave Derpy if Derpy is no longer Derpy? Baby? Because as Douglas and Gentleman Jesus Yeshua talk to me, talk to Derpy, I seem to remember something. I seem to remember something from something in the past. Yes. Yes, you do, Yeshua. You remember it too. I do, Derpy. I remember. Yeshua. I'm here, Derp. Was I a disciple in another life? Yes. Is that why you came today, to take me back? No, Derp. I have my disciples for this lifetime. Don't need any more. I think I could be a really great disciple. I'm really, really loyal, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life, and I think if I could just get together with you and Mr. Douglas, that I could really be of service. Gentlemen, Jesus, Yeshua. I really could be. It's not how it works, Derp. The lessons we learn from each lifetime serve us in the next lifetime and all subsequent lifetimes. And so when you're done being a disciple in one lifetime, you're going to manifest all that you learned in the next lifetime, Derp. So Douglas, here. The life before this life, Douglas, was struggling mightily. Tell him, Douglas. Yes. Last life I would not have been worthy of Yeshua. It was only at the end of my life that I came across Yeshua, who... Dude, you won't believe it, but the Yeshua from the last life wasn't the Yeshua here. Every new life is a new Yeshua. So the Yeshua I meant then, that Yeshua died. And now we have a new Yeshua, and I had to find the new Yeshua. Can I ask a question, Sir Douglas? And, of course, before you were here, Gentleman Yeshua, Jesus, he said that he wasn't the Jesus from way back when. He just said that people end up calling him that. So I'm confused. How does that work? Because I want to share that I too would like to be a disciple of the Jesus. But if this gentleman Jesus Yeshua is not the Jesus from 2,000 years ago, Sir Douglas, then I don't need to follow him. I just need to follow the original. But he's not the original, so I'm confused. Yes, he's not the original. Sir Douglas, may I know what happened to the original Jesus? When you're ready, Anne, we'll tell you. May I know when I will be ready? Yes, you may know. When Derp tells you. Derpy's going to tell me what happened to the original Jesus. Yes, he is. I am? I don't know what happened to the original Jesus. I just know that I'm talking to Gentleman Jesus, Yeshua, who's not the original Jesus, but does reincarnate. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing here, but Anne, I'm starting to feel a little different inside. I'm starting to feel different. I'm starting to feel nauseous. This is too much for Derp. It's not too much for you, Derp. It's too much for Derp. Derp. It's not too much for you. You just look in Yeshua's eyes and stay here with me. Derp's not going anywhere. You told me that I'm not going to be a disciple, so I have to live this life. I don't want to live this life. I want to be a disciple of the Yeshua. Derp, I'm not the Yeshua from 2,000 years ago. But you are something. And all Derp is dirt. Derp is dirt, baby. You're not. Everybody's right. You know what my mask is? You know what this mask is? It's dirt. Dirt. You, Mr. Jesus, you, Douglas, disciple, and you, and my precious wife. You just pretend to like Mr. Dirtface. I see through you. All of you trying to boost your self-esteem at Derp. At Derp's expense. That's why you hang around weak people like me, but I'm not weak anymore. I'm taking off my mask. I'm gonna be the next Yeshua. Because if you won't let me be your disciple, mister, I will be Yeshua. You're gonna follow me, Douglas. Okay, hold it. This does happen from time to time. Douglas almost went down this route when we first met. You just get a real hit of the power, of the magical divine power, and you get a little explosive, Derp. It's okay. No! No more mask for the Derp. The Derp is going to be free. No more condescending to me. I am going to be the next Yeshua. In fact, nobody can stop me from being the current Yeshua, including you. Yeshua, I'm tired of being pathetic. You know what they say, you know what I heard? It's all coming together. It's all coming together for me now. Derpy is coming together for me. You see? Listen to me. When you see how weak someone is, it's only because they can be so strong. See? All their energy is going in the other direction of weakness. So they're the weakest. They do weak better than anybody. Because they're so good at being weak. But you know what that means? That they could be just as good being strong. Derpy can be Yeshua. And maybe Derpy can be as Yeshua as the first Yeshua. Alright. Okay. That's a little much. You're just trying to hold me down. Babe. Sir, gentlemen, is not trying to hold you down. Him and Douglas here are trying their best to help you see your own self-worth, babe. And yeah, it's kind of like woo, like a volcano, babe. It's a little bit much. Ian, look what you've done to yourself. You're a boss babe who's turned into a doormat because you're afraid. I am afraid, Derps. It's true. I don't want to be the controlling, raging say it, and I don't want to be. So you're so afraid of being the controlling, raging, that you choose Derpy. And there's no question, because if you chose a man, a real man, a masculine man, and then you might just be the controlling, raging. You're pretending, my love. You are wearing a costume. Derpy is wearing a costume. And you, Gentleman Jesus, I wonder if you are wearing a costume. Disciple Douglas. Derps, when I first discovered Gentleman Yeshua, I had a big reaction too, just like you. And it's only natural when you're starting to rediscover your birthright that you have an explosive reaction. I mean, it happens frequently. It happened with me. You are not going to be following us this lifetime. You've already been a disciple. You started at the bottom of the ladder this lifetime. Derpy, you were in the bottom rung, and you are absolutely correct that your capacity for the bottom rung mirrors your capacity for the top rung. So why didn't I just do it? Do it now, execute. Become the top rung, become the next Gentleman Yeshua. Zapping myself from Parkbench to Parkbench to save all the Derpies. Every Derpy in the world. Saved by yours truly, Gentleman Yeshua, Esquire Extraordinaire. Why not? I deserve it. I was a disciple in my former lifetime. Time to buckle up and be Yeshua. This lifetime. This is the time. Right? If not now, when, Douglas? Right? Am I right, Yeshua? And back me up on this. If not now, when? Sweetheart, I'm just concerned that you're not integrated. Like you want to go out now and save the world with this new energy. And I understand that, baby, but you've got to find a way to be more embodied. You have to be very embodied with this, or if you're going to go out there and be the next Gentleman Jesus, you're going to hurt people because you're going to actually think that you're not something, or that you are something. You know? We've got a lot of invincible narcissists in the world. And they go out there and they're healing people all the time, but they're not healing people, Derpy. Because what they're doing is they're just performing the role of the healer without being healed. And then the sick can't tell the difference because they're sick. So Derps, this is what we're trying to share with you, me and Gentleman Jesus and his disciple Douglas, that you're not quite ready. I mean, you've had a great awakening and a peak experience here today on the Parkbench, and we love you and we support you. Stop trying to control me. Did you notice something, Anne? The minute I step into my power, you get out the controller again. Thought you were done with the boss babe days, babe. Thought you were done. I'm just trying to help you. No, you're just trying to mother me. Derpy doesn't need a mother. Derpy's Yeshua. I'm Yeshua. You want to know what happened to the original Yeshua? It's Derps. I'm the original. Jesus, I am. You, sir, Gentleman Yeshua. Clearly you were one of my disciples back in the day. And you keep doing this. It's time to retire. You're not the real deal. Derps is the real deal. Okay. Okay, so, Derpy, I want to tell you that I'm really proud of you for fully owning your birthright. That does not mean that you're necessarily the original Jesus. Yes, but I believe Douglas just said to Anne that I would be the one telling her what happened to the original Jesus. Well, you're looking at him. Derps is the original Jesus. No. This isn't about the three of us trying to oppress you, Derps. This is about you getting aligned with reality. If you leave this park thinking that you're the original Jesus, and you go out and try to heal people, your charisma alone will suck them in. Because you believe. And maybe they will experience some healing. But that's the placebo. That's what they're doing. Because they believe. And then you get into their psyche, Derps. And believe me, once you get into the psyche of people who think you're Jesus, then you really fuck them up, Derps. I told you I am not the original Jesus. People call me that. I let them call me that. But there's a reason. They feel healing in my presence, but I'm not out there showcasing. I'm not showboating. Oh, I'm the Jesus. No, I'm not the Jesus, and you're not the Jesus, Derps, and Douglas is not the Jesus, and Anne is not the Jesus. Sir, does it always happen this way? Every single time, Douglas, it's always just a matter of degree. You know? It's this thing that's... They've got a name for it. It's called Shaktipat. It's over from that Hindu part of the world. It's you activate the divine energy in somebody and all of a sudden they think they're Jesus. It's a pain in the ass, Douglas. It really is. Makes me some days regret my job. Because listen to me, Derpy. If I can go through this and not believe that I'm Jesus, then so can you. Because if there's anybody who wants to really get off on being Jesus, it's me. But I don't. I restrain myself from that indulgence. You can too, Derpy. Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't what, Derps? Maybe you should believe that you're the original Jesus. After all, you call yourself Gentleman Yeshua. You're walking around healing people on park benches. Maybe you are the original Jesus. Okay, Derps. If I'm the original Jesus, what does that make you? Original Jesus number 2. Okay, Derps. Okay, Derpy. How can there be 2 original Jesuses? Yeah. I guess you're not such an original Jesus after all, Gentleman Jesus. No, Derpy, I'm just asking you this question. I give you Shakti Pot. You just explode with divine realization. You're enlightened now, Derpy. So you tell me how there can be 2 Jesuses, 2 original Jesuses. I'm waiting. Oh, well, that's not too difficult. If you were an original Jesus, maybe you'd understand. Jesus? So you're saying I'm not the original Jesus, but calling me Jesus at the same time, Derps? Yes, I am. Jesus. That doesn't make any sense. Douglas, does that make Anne? Back me up here. Is Derpy talking sense? Well, I just want to be the supporting wife. Sir, he may have a point. Let's hear him out. Okay, Derps. Don't limit Jesus. Here you are, Gentleman Yeshua, floating from Parkbench to Parkbench around the world. Healing people. People who have low self-esteem like me, like Derpy. People who are wearing costumes, masks, personas, well. That makes you kind of special. It's not about me, Derpy. Don't call me Derpy. I'm Derpy because I'm not going to enable this new Christ complex that you've got just because I gave you Shaktipat here on a park bench. Okay? You need to come back to reality. No. See? That's the problem. They set you free, and then they try to pull you back in. They try to limit you. You're not going to limit Derpy Jesus. Derpy Jesus isn't going to be limited by Gentleman Yeshua Jesus. Because that's just part of the plan. You don't want real free people, do you, Yeshua? You want us to believe 1/10 of our divine self and rein us back in like we're a fish that you just caught. But you got to remember, the original Jesus, he didn't give them fish, did he? No, he didn't. He made them fishers of men. And here I am, I'm proclaiming my Christhood for everybody to see, for my beautiful wife, Anne, who's now going to leave me because she's actually secretly a boss babe, and she can't stand a man in his power. Go ahead, Anne. Go ahead, find another man. I'm here. Derpy's rocking the free world. And you, Sir Douglas, how could you possibly follow Gentleman Yeshua now that he's abdicated the throne to the true Jesus, a.k.a. formerly known as Derpy? So you guys didn't even know what you were getting into when you sat down on this bench today. Oh yeah, I'm the Christ. I'm the Christ. I'm looking for disciples too, gentlemen. Oh yeah. Yeshua. Douglas and come. Follow me. Derpy Jesus. Your sins don't stand a chance. We do this over and over and over again, don't we? Every single lifetime. It's a new adventure, isn't it? Now you, 3, you're starting to see, aren't you? That you're not as powerful as me. See, if I were a simulacrum of Jesus instead of the real Jesus, I wouldn't have been able to overpower all 3 of you like that. But I did. And that says something. No, it doesn't. Derpy Jesus. And I'm going to call you Derpy Jesus because you just called yourself Derpy Jesus. Let me tell you something. There's this thing called intellectualization, or intellectualizing your way into spiritual awakening. And that's what you're doing here. And there's no doubt that my Shakti pot illuminated your mind. I gave you a touch of enlightenment, and now your mind is online, and you're no longer just Derpy in a pity party on a park bench. But that does not mean you are truly enlightened and awakened. You just think you are because you've suddenly got that mental prowess that comes with my touch. I do this for people, but I would be the first to admit, Gentleman Yeshua Jesus, that I am not creating enlightened Jesuses on park benches across the world. Thinking that you are the Jesus, the Christ, proclaiming it to the world and making people fishers of men and multiplying loaves of bread. Come on. Anybody can say that who's read the friggin' Bible or gone to Sunday school. Derpy Jesus, get a hold of yourself. Do you know how many lifetimes it takes to incarnate as the Christ? No, I do not, gentlemen. Yeshua. Jesus, what did you just tell me? Tell me how many lifetimes. I don't even know how many lifetimes. I just know you're not the real deal. And how do you know that? Because your ego's too big, Derpy. Jesus. Way too big. You're really getting off on your new power right now. That's not spiritual. Ask Anne. Ask Douglas. They know that you're powerful, but they know you're not the Christ. You're not the awakened one, the enlightened one. Not at all. Yeah. Well, then maybe they won't be my disciples if they can't see the truth. Sir, if you can't see the truth, that's on you. No, Derps. We can't see the truth, quote unquote, because it's not the truth. But what about my logic? What logic? The logic that those who have the greatest capacity for weakness have the greatest capacity for strength. Here I was my whole life, Mr. Derpy. Everybody making fun of me, teasing me, when I was really the Christ. And maybe I had to go through that adventure to really truly learn humility so I could be the Christ. Well, then I suppose you've answered your own question. Baby, you really have. And when I'm talking to the Jeshua, do not interrupt us. That's just rude. Stop being rude and interrupting us. No, it's just rude. You're rude now. You're not the Jesus, you're just the rudeness. You're the rudeness. You're not humble. So what is this bullshit, baby? You're not humble. You wake up and proclaim yourself the Derpy Jesus and you're more powerful than me and Sir Douglas and Gentleman Jesus. You're not. I'm your wife and I want to support you, but I can't support delusion like that. You're not humble. You've gone from Derpy to megalomaniac in like 60 frickin' seconds. You're the Jesus. F you. F you, baby. You're not the Jesus. You're just insecure little Derpy trying to wear the sandals and the crown of thorns, walking around in some white robes with fucking sunlight coming out of your eyes. That's not you. That's not my Derpy. Don't. You see what you're doing right now, babe? You're trying to limit me. You're trying to limit Jesus Derpy. Do not try to limit me. This is what happens when you break out of your shell. Everybody wants to put you back in. That's what you guys are doing. I'm trying to tell you I'm the Jesus. I'm the Christ. Don't put me back into my shell. I had an apprenticeship in the shell. Those were my days of learning, of being the Derpy. I'm out now. I'm ready to save the world. Don't put me back in my shell. This is on you. This is your shadow. This is your own unacknowledged greatness. You know, and maybe you, gentlemen, Yeshua Jesus, maybe you've got some greatness issues yourself. Maybe you aren't truly being the original Christ. And Douglas, what can I say about you? What can I say about you, Douglas? You're just following this guy around, kissing his ass? And my lovely boss babe, Anne, becoming a compliant doormat. Compliant doormat. Just so she can get the bills paid and stop being a boss babe. You're all selling yourselves out. I don't sell myself out. I'm the next Derpy Jesus. And I'll prove it to you. Sit your ass down on the bench and let me help you. Let me save your sins. Derpy, you cannot save our sins. When you're lost in your own sins. It's not how this works, Derp. Ask Douglas. Derp, Gentleman Jesus is correct. Everywhere we go, we awaken people with this Shaktipat, this touch of divine energy, this spark. Everyone seems to have their own reaction. Everyone. You're not the only one who's proclaimed themselves to be the Christ, or some say they're the Buddha, Krishna. It happens every time, and it's okay. The power, Derp, the power is intoxicating to say the least. It truly is. People get drunk, and they're getting a real taste. But Derp, you have to stabilize it, and that's why I'm a disciple of Gentleman Jesus Yeshua. That's why I'm always kissing his ass, as you say. I don't even mind, because I have to kiss his ass. I have so much power in my system. If I don't kiss his ass, I'm gonna go out and think I'm the next Douglas Christ, Douglas Jesus. But I'm not. Well, maybe you're not then. But Derps is no Derps. That's why I'm here. That's why Gentleman Yeshua summoned me. Because he knew that he was awakening you and your lovely wife, Anne. You're both more awakened now. Yeah, but what do we do? If I'm not the Christ, how can I even make any good use of this newfound power, this divine spark, this Shakti pot you talk about? How can I do anything? Well, that's the next leg of the journey, Derps. How do I know that you guys just aren't limiting me and you aren't just afraid of being replaced by Derpy Jesus? How do I know that? When Gentleman Yeshua approached you here on this park bench, and you were in the depths of self-loathing as Derpy, did you sense any egotism or arrogance? That you were dealing with a megalomaniac at all? Was there any pompous energy? Was he getting off on his spiritual realization and his perfection? No, Derp, he wasn't. And look, if he's powerful enough to activate the Christ energy in you, must mean he's pretty powerful, Derp. And yet he's totally humble. Yeah? Well, how do we know that that's a shortcoming? You know? Maybe he doesn't really fully realize his power and therefore he's humble. But those of us who know our power, we're not humble about it because we just have self-worth. We know what we're worth. Well, you can be humble when you know your self-worth, and truly when you fully know your self-worth, you fully are humble. Yeah, Douglas, I'm just not sure about that. That seems like some kind of rhetoric that you use to keep people down. And, if I believe that rhetoric, Douglas, I'm just gonna go around and live a fucking mediocre life. And maybe that's just what you want. You want to wake me up only so much, and then send me away to live in mediocrity. Derps, why would we do that? And I wasn't here, but I know for a fact that when Gentleman Yeshua walked up to you, all he wanted to do was help. He's not here to try to wake you up and then sell you out. That would be malicious. Do you sense any malicious energy coming from gentleman Jesus? No. Can you sense the gentleman Jesus simply wants the best for you and for me and for Anne? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it could be. But I want to know something. Douglas, how am I supposed to go and do good in the world unless I have that sense of power inside me? And I want to go out and rescue people from the misery. That's what I want to do. I'm a teacher. I'm a healer. I'm a shaman with my Shakti pot. And now you want to take that away from me just when I've awakened from the Derpy. Derps. Thank you. Douglas, I'm going to speak now. Derpy, it's not about that. You're not going to have the power that you think you have when you walk around thinking you're so damn powerful, son. It's not how that works. That's all ego. That's more costume. Right now, you think you're invincible, but that's really just a rarefied form of narcissism. You're imperturbable. You're not susceptible. You don't receive feedback well. You keep resisting us. I keep resisting you guys because I feel like you're trying to rein me in and keep me small, and I've lived my whole life tiny Derpy. I'm tired of being Derpy. Yes, but you're not going to compensate for tiny Derpy by becoming this grand blimp of grandiosity. Derpy, you just go into the other extreme. You haven't found the middle way. I'm not convinced. You know, the reason you're not convinced, Derpy, is because you can't see the compassion in what I'm saying, because you're too juiced up. You're juiced on your own power, so you can't see my frequency of compassion. So you're going to go out there with all your great transmission of power, and people are going to suck it up, and they're going to love it, and they're going to have some energetic shifts because they're in the presence of someone who's so charismatic, with such conviction. But they're not going to heal, they're just going to shift. And the reason they're not going to heal is because it's about you. It's not about them. You're out there blasting the world with your spiritual power, and all you really want is for them to reflect back to you how great you are. And that's how little Derpy heals. But no, it's not how little Derpy heals. It's how little Derpy stays wounded, because he hasn't found the real frequency, which is all that power with all the heart. I am feeling the power. You are powerful, baby. I am feeling it. And I don't know about this heart. Because honestly, right now, that just feels like weakness, gentlemen. Jesus. It just feels like weakness. It feels like you want to drag me back down. No, I'm not dragging you back down, Derpy. I'm telling you that you're just going to go out there like a sledgehammer. And the weak, oh, they're going to love that when they're ready for it. If they're ready for it. But that doesn't mean you're healing them. That just means you're penetrating them with all of your divine power. You've got to help them come into their own power. And for that, you've got to bring the heart, Derpy. You have to penetrate with your power. And love them with your heart.